Before I show y'all, before I post the videos that I posted just a couple of hours ago at Virginfest, let me give you some background to what Virginfest is uh, and the story of what happened tonight. So, Virginfest, I became aware of it thanks to an internet friend posting something about it. This was a couple of months ago, and it said that there was going to be this show on 9/11, which is today, in Atlanta, Georgia, which is my hometown. And although I don't live there, I'm here in Atlanta now for the weekend. And so this poster said that there was going to be this gathering of various bands that fit into this genre known as incelcore. And so these bands all, for those who don't know about incelcore, I will recommend a channel for you to watch. You can take it all in and decide for yourself. Maybe it's your kind of music, maybe it isn't. What I do enjoy about it is it's the true spirit of punk has made a return in incelcore. It's very anti-PC, very anti-SJW, very anti establishment feminism and multiculturalism and all of the all the liberal sacred cows of today. It's it calls itself incelcore, and I guess a lot of the themes that are reflected on in the songs are about, from the point of view of men who are depressed and singing about killing themselves or how about how girls don't like them and stuff like that. But it's done with a real ferocity. It sounds kind of whiny and dopey the way I'm describing it now, but it's very fun to listen to. It's very energetic, and it's very like screw the system, screw the establishment. Again, the in the finest spirit of old school punk, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm old enough to remember old school punk, although I'm not saying I was ever a hardcore punk rocker, but I always appreciated the spirit of it. Bands like the Sex Pistols or whatnot. Anyhow, so I came to well, first of all, let me finish talking about this poster. I eventually found out that the venue had sold out. That originally they were going to sell tickets at the door, but that was not tenable for some reason, so they ended up selling them online, and it sold out very quickly. And I thought, oh man, but I still thought I'm going to go. I'll just go, and I'll either try to get myself a guest pass. Try to finagle or I should say a press pass, because I'm technically, I could be called a member of I'm a blogger, right? And a vlogger. So I thought I would try that, but if that didn't work, I would just hang out, around the venue, wherever it was, and just see if I could talk to people and maybe peek inside, every now and then to see what was going on. Well, it turns out I drove to the venue tonight, not expecting it to be a bust for me, expecting to be shut out of the event. But I drove to the door of where the event was supposed to be, and then it said, there was a paper sign on the door that said, "Event will take place in park, something park." I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was a nearby park. It was about a mile and a half away from the venue site, and I didn't know exactly what had happened, but I thought, well, okay, I'll drive to the park, uh, and I got there, and then I just got online. I got on Instagram, and I found out from the Instagram page of Shooter, who's the singer in the band Negative XD. Actually, he's a one man band. He used to go by the name of Shooter, and I think he still does, but because that was not a name that he could really market very well, that he went to Negative XD, and he's definitely the most conspicuous of everybody in the incelcore scene. Well, he had posted something saying that the Antifa had called the venue site and had intimidated them, or said something like, this is a racist, sexist, misogynistic, all the typical Antifa dirty tricks that they play. And unfortunately, but also fortunately, as I'll explain, the venue caved in and said, we can't host you anymore. And so then what they decided to do was move to this outdoor setting, which was this nearby park. And the reason why I say this is fortunate is because I could therefore obtain access to the show, which I wouldn't have been able to before. And if you go on my Instagram page, I've posted a bunch of the performers, and I also earlier posted a moment where two women who were, I believe, must have been Antifa affiliated. They came in. They both fit the profile. They both had colored hair. One of them had blue hair and was overweight, and the other had reddish dyed hair. And they were both wearing masks, of course, to demonstrate their virtue, to demonstrate their Antifa virtue. And what they did was they walked up while one of the performers was trying to perform on an acoustic guitar. One of these young women, young Antifa gals, walked up with her cell phone on, blasting music. So intentionally trying to cause this distraction, and people asked her to turn it off, but she just stood there. And eventually it became clear, that was who they were and what they were doing, and so forth. And so what happened next was pretty great. This guy got on drums and started playing drums so the music would be louder, and then the rest of the crowd just sort of surrounded these two young women, and I walked up and stuck the camera right in the face of the blue-haired one, and she was there smoking a cigarette, trying to look nonchalant, but I could see her hands were shaking. And because this whole crowd of rowdy people were yelling at them, telling them to get the hell out, and that all they were doing was just trying to have a show, and they were being dicks, they were disrupting it, and so forth. And as you can see on that video, they left. They walked out, and there was no violence. Nobody pushed anybody. Nobody shoved anybody. Nobody hit anybody. But the two infiltrators just left, and everybody cheered and roared. I should say the crowd was fantastic. I mean, it was a crowd of maybe 40 or 50 people total, but there was such enthusiasm, and there was also just a spirit of like they were like when if a performer got off the beat or missed got nervous or something like that, they were encouraging. That didn't happen very much. The performers were all very strong, very talented people. Great voices. As you can see, if you watch my Instagram channel, you'll see some of the performers. And you can, and maybe I'll post a few on this page as well. But so, I should also say the crowd, was not by any stretch all male. There were several young women there, and it was by no means all white. There were people of different ethnicities there, and so it was not. And even it turned out even one of the performers was a woman, which I hadn't known before. So this whole incelcore scene, is more diverse than not that I fetishize diversity in any way, but it was an interesting thing to note. There were people there of different backgrounds, and there were girls there, and even though this is incelcore, there were some cute girls there. There were a couple of guys who had girlfriends with them. So anyway, and I should also say my presence there, as you can guess, was noticed. And some of the people there, I got some, a few of the guys there kind of asked me some questions. Some of them phrased things somewhat sharply, but I didn't take it personally, and it was kind of funny. They were busting my chops. They were asking if I was from Vice. Or if I was from Reddit or something, something like that. And I was saying, I told them, like, if I were infiltrating this, this venue for some, on behalf of some venue who hated you guys, I would be the worst person to do that, since I look like I could be somebody's dad. This was a group of people. I would say roughly, they're from 18 to maybe 30 would be was the median age of most of the attendees. But I told them who I was. I told them my name, so they looked me up and they found out, that I was that they all the people who hated them hated me, and all the people who they hated, I hated. So I think they mostly trusted me, although probably some still wonder what the hell this old man was doing there. But anyway, I did conduct a couple of very interesting interviews. I talked to the legendary Egg White. I'll post that video later. And I also talked to a very thoughtful young man who had a few things to say about the appeal of incelcore, what it's all about. And I'll probably post both of those videos, if not tonight, maybe tomorrow. But it was it was a fascinating experience, and I'm so glad I got to attend. I finally met Tim Sabers, somebody that I've been in contact with online, but haven't met in person yet. And it was incredible. There was just an incredible feel to this event. There was such a feeling of camaraderie. And I know I wasn't really part of the scene, and I didn't pretend to be. I didn't think that I was. I in no way did I reckon myself to be one with this scene. I know it's this, I'm way too old to be a part of this scene, but it was still just a great thing to see. It was beautiful. And the final performer was Shooter, who I think supposedly was maybe a little rattled because he'd been the one who'd been targeted by Antifa, because he's the most conspicuous one. But he ended up playing a couple of songs, sitting down, and the crowd was just gathered very closely around him. And I think I will play that final number that he did, because the feeling of, like, it was just sheer. It was quiet all over. I mean, for most of the night, there were people who were listening to the music, and there were also people talking and being rowdy and stuff. But for this moment, they were just sitting there, watching their hero perform, and then he left, and they all shouted, "We love you, Shooter! We love you, Shooter!" I wish I'd gotten that on video, but I stopped recording after his last song was over. But anyway, fantastic event. So glad I got to attend, and I hope you enjoy the couple of videos that follow, which I recorded at this event.